My name is Susan Hughes and I'm a visual artist and fiddle player from Belfast. I use a lot of different media in my practice: video, sculpture, installation, sound, text, poster making, and my fiddle playing has always been a tool that has brought me to places and enabled me to access communities and hear stories, and it has always that has always fed back into my art practice. This is the first time that I've made work explicitly about music. So in the exhibition you will see a lot of my own workings out of what is this thing that is now identified as Irish traditional music. The title of the exhibition is called A Feeling in the Blood, and it comes from a quote by a fiddle player called Neely Boyle from Donegal. I've learned most of my fiddle playing in Donegal, so a lot of my connections to music and learning about music and dance and storytelling have been in Donegal. Neely Boyle's opinions would have been quite strong and sometimes controversial, but he's very charismatic in his speech when he was recorded, talking about Irish music and his understanding of Irish music. And when he talks about a feeling in the blood of learning music and playing music as something that is very visceral and bodily almost as well, that is something that I want people to experience when they come into the exhibition. So when you come into my exhibition, you will be bathed in diffused daylight coming from the window through an orange curtain, and also black light which will be shining onto a fluorescent pink wall. So the lighting will be low but psychedelic, I suppose, and I want people to feel like they're maybe entering some kind of strange nightclub or in the under part of an aquarium where you're underwater but you've got a glass all around you. Or you're inside a body, maybe. That's the kind of feeling that I want to get when you just come into the space. Then when you're in the space, there will be a lot of things to look at. There are posters on the wall which have text on them that have emerged out of my research into the very dense and complicated and rich history of Irish music. These are inspired by my interest in dance music culture as well, electronic dance music, and have got a lot of fluorescent colours, neon colours in them. Featured on that wall also are signs by a signwriter, Belfast's last old school signwriter, John McCandless. And those are posters that I used in my house when I was having dances where I was teaching people the two-hand dances of Donegal. That's an issue that I'm really interested in, is the kind of dislocation of dance and music in Irish music today. You see a lot of sessions where the musicians are playing, you see a lot of ceilidhs where the dancers are dancing, but those two things don't really merge anymore, and it is dance music, essentially. So that's what I was really looking at. When did that start to separate? There's a lot of folklore within the posters as well that I would have gathered from the Irish folklore collection in Dublin in UCD. There's a lot of old quotes that are quite surreal when they're isolated and put up on the wall, and kind of enigmatic. As you walk deeper into the space, you will see a stage surrounded by lots of chairs. Chairs from my own home, from my own studio, brought into the gallery. The stage is made from an old barn door, and in the late 1800s, early 1900s, when people were having house dances, sometimes people would take off the half door from the hinges and put it on the earth or flag floor as a platform for the best solo dancers to dance on. Obviously the flag floor is stone, so the wooden floor would have created a different sound, a different acoustic. So my stage is made from an old door, and I'm going to have dancers there and musicians and singers performing not only on the opening night but during the course of the whole exhibition run. So the space will be activated at times by performers. I'm also inviting just passers-by, people during the Belfast Trad Fest, during the Flat, to come and perform. My friends and just visitors to the city. And I really hope that people will engage in that way with the exhibition. When there aren't people there will be a kind of residue, or like a feeling of that something has happened on that stage, or something is going to happen. Another part of my exhibition is a film that I've made. The film is sort of like a montage of anecdotes that have emerged out of my research and just my own experience of playing music, meeting people, learning about the music, going to places, and the painstaking process of learning music as well. But the transcendent feeling that you get when you play music with other people, or you maybe learn a tune, or you're practicing on your own for hours on end, and you just get into a trance with a particular tune. All of those things, as well as the weird things that I've read about in my research. Harpers being punished by getting their nails cut because they played with their nails. So if their fingernails were cut, they weren't able to play and earn their keep. Things like that. So I've got a guitarist called Paddy McKeown playing an O'Carolan waltz. O'Carolan was one of the ancient harpers of Ireland. So I've got Paddy, who has synthetic nails for playing guitar, playing one of the harp tunes on his guitar. So this is a very veiled reference to this quote that I read about the harpers getting their nails cut. I've also got footage from our amazing NI Screen archive, which is a wonderful resource, as I've been accessing that resource for many years now. I've got footage from a series called The Life and Times, which was a series made in 1992 about different instruments. The life and times of the fiddle, the life and times of the box, the flute, bodhrán, guitar. And those series were made by Alistair Heron and Kate McManus by the Belfast Film Workshop, and they're an amazing snapshot of 1990s Belfast traditional music and dance. There's a lot of footage of the ceilidhs that were going on. There was a revival, a set dancing revival at the time. The sessions were really, really thriving. So I've got little clips from some of that footage in my film. I've got a lot of my friends who I invited to come and dance in my studio and dance in my house. I've got young girls dancing who represent this strong drive forward of the dance tradition, the thriving dance tradition in the city and in the country and in the whole world. I want this exhibition to be inclusive and accessible and interactive and collaborative. So I invited everyone I know who plays music, who interacts with music, who listens to music, to contribute an object that is associated with their experience of learning Irish music over the years. It could be something very abstract, like, for example, a pack of cigarettes that was lent to the archive that represents a woman called Mairead in Donegal's experience of learning singing and just going walking on her own to get to a field where she knew no one would be around, and she just sang and sang and sang. She would sing and smoke cigarettes and sing in Irish, sing in English, and get familiar with her own voice where she'd be totally free to do that. So those cigarettes are just a pack of cigarettes, but when you hear the story, they become much more. Some things are very obvious, such as someone's first instrument that they ever learned on, whistle, guitar, accordion. Some are glamorous, such as the Irish dancing dresses up along the wall, some from the 1950s, 1980s, 2000s. Some are less glamorous, such as Thierry Michel, who is one of Belfast's well-known buskers. Thierry Michel's little busking seat, his fingerless gloves, his cap with a few coins in it, discontinued currencies that people would throw to buskers when they have loose change. Some of the stories are very funny, some of them are poignant, some of them are very sad. And this is a presentation of Irish music that is completely psychedelic and weird and unexpected compared to the usual presentations of our archival presentations or photographic exhibitions of Irish music that we are more familiar with. So I really hope that it will get footfall and people will come and play on the stage and come and look at the archive and feel included, even if they haven't contributed. They will recognise a lot of those items, and the feelings that they get, the nostalgia will be there. There will be something for everybody.